Hi, I'm Ron Halbritter, Technical Advisor for Legendary Auto Interiors, and I'd like to welcome you to Legendary Studio, where today we're going to show you the proper way to install our 1970 GTO seat covers, along with how to install our new molded foam kit, and using our installation kit 3, which comes with our burlap, our muslin, our 2-inch felt, and the paper-coated listing wire. Now together with Legendary Auto Interiors and Randy Brown, we're going to show you why Legendary Auto Interiors is #1 with collectors, restorers, and enthusiasts worldwide. Our first step will be to anchor the burlap over the top of the seat springs. You want to trim out any areas where it looks like the burlap is going to buckle. You want to trim off any excess. Pull some tension on the burlap so it's nice and tight, and hog ring it around the outside perimeter of the seat springs. On the front seat bottom, you want to attach the 2-inch felt all the way around the outside perimeter. Space your hog rings about every 2 to 3 inches apart. Along the insert molded edge, you want to cut all the way down through using scissors or a razor blade. This will allow you to tuck the listing pockets down through the molded foam on the seat cover and attach it to your seat frame. Set the molded foam on top of the seat springs and take a black Sharpie and draw on the top of the burlap. This will be your anchor points for your paper-coated listing wire. You want to bend the ends so the listing wire does not travel front to back. You want to anchor the paper-coated listing wire around the paper-coated listing wire, through the burlap, and around the seat springs. Continue to hog ring the paper-coated listing wire where you've drawn through the molded foam. You want to space the hog rings about every 2 to 3 inches apart. General Motors cars have a layer of cotton over the top of the burlap. You want to carefully split the cotton apart exactly where the paper-coated listing wire that you just attached. It's easier to split the cotton apart, but sometimes you may want to use a pair of scissors. We find it easier that splitting it apart by hand is the best method. Now you'll be able to lay your molded foam over the top of the cotton and secure it firmly from the back side. You want to flip the seat over on its front side, wrap the muslin over the top of the cotton, and then hog ring it to the seat frame. You want to secure it so you don't see much of the cotton exposed. After the front side is done, you want to move along to the driver or passenger side and do the sides, carefully rolling the muslin over around the cotton and hog ringing through the muslin and around the seat springs. Now that our bottom is finished, we want to move along to the front seat top. We want to attach the burlap along the face of it. Trim off any excess. Carefully fold the edge over, pulling some tension on the burlap, and then securing the burlap to the seat springs. Now again, in the channeled area of your foam, you want to cut all the way down through that, either from the back side or the front side. You can use a razor blade or a pair of scissors to accomplish this. This will allow you to attach the seat cover through the molded foam and anchor it to the paper-coated listing wire that you're about to attach. Once you've made the cuts, place the foam in place over the top of the seat frame and carefully draw a line around where you've made the cut. Now where we've drawn that line on top of the burlap is where we attach our paper-coated listing wire. We start at the bottom side of the seat springs, we put a 90-degree bend, and then follow the line that we've just drawn on top of the burlap all the way around the seat springs. You want to attach around the paper-coated listing wire and through the burlap and around the seat springs. You want to space the hog rings about every 2 to 3 inches apart and carefully make sure you bend the ends at a 90-degree angle so your paper-coated listing wire does not move. As we did on our front seat bottom, you want to put a layer of cotton over the top of our seat springs and our burlap and carefully split the cotton in the areas where the paper-coated listing wire is. You see Randy again is cutting it with the scissors and pulling it apart to show you both ways you can separate it. After your cotton is finished, you want to lay your molded foam over the top of the cotton and pull the muslin over the top of the cotton and secure it to the back side of the seat frame. After your top is complete, fold the muslin over the bottom side of your molded foam and secure it to the seat springs. Now you carefully want to make sure that this is symmetrical left to right and top to bottom so your seat cover will look proper. After your top and bottom edges are secured, carefully roll the muslin over the top of the cotton again and hog ring to the seat springs. You want to repeat the process on the opposite side and move up to your corners and make sure there isn't any extra material bunching up underneath the seat cover. After the top corners are completed, move down to where the hinges are and carefully fold the foam and muslin up underneath the hinges and secure it to the seat frame. Now we're ready for our seat cover installation. We want to start with the seat cover by making sure that the seat is going to go on there symmetrically. So any trimming of your listings, the listing pockets on this specific model are going to need to be trimmed. You'll see it's sewn all the way across. We need to make some relief cuts in the listing pockets so the relief pockets actually stand up when you're installing them. You see Randy's cutting off any excess ones that he doesn't need. Now he carefully wants to place it front to back to see how his seat cover is going to lay on top of his molded foam. This is a very important step to get your seat cover to look correct. Now here we're finding the center point so we can actually line our seat cover up exactly in the center of the molded foam. We want to put a hog ring directly in the center, work our way towards the outside edge so the front edge is complete before we move over to our sides. After we get our sides attached, we want to repeat the process on the opposite side so the insert area is all attached. You'll want to space the hog rings about every 2 to 3 inches apart. After the insert is attached, you want to slide the paper-coated listing wire on the back side of the insert and along the side edges. This will help you attach your seat cover on the bottom side of the seat frame. Our first step in installing the cover will be to wrap the corner along the front edge and then gradually work towards your back edge. You can work the vinyl, work any wrinkles, make sure the piping is all turned in the same direction so you have a uniform look. You want to come over, secure the seat cover so it doesn't rip while you're wrapping the other side over. Now you can compress the molded foam as you're working the seat cover over and shove the foam up underneath the seat cover while you're installing it. As you're moving along, you can carefully work the wrinkles out. Our next step will be to flip the seat cover over, compress the seat springs, and then put a hog ring through the paper-coated listing wire that's inserted into the listing pocket and then secure it to the seat frame area. On this General Motors seat, there'll be small hoops that you put the hog ring around the paper-coated listing wire and attach to the seat frame. I want to repeat the process on the opposite side as well. Now you want to carefully start in the center and work your way gradually around the front edge and all the way to the back edge. Once that's complete, the back side of the insert section has a listing wire that's inserted that you have to hog ring down to the seat springs. That will keep the insert area locked down in the back side of the seat. Anchor the seat cover on the outside edges, flip the cover over on its face, insert the stretch panel board, pull the vinyl over the top of the stretch panel board, and anchor it to the seat springs. Now the small cup panels that are located on the outside edges of the seat rails actually tuck around and hide the seat spring and seat rail areas. You can see this is a good location here where you can actually see where the vinyl is wrapped around the edge, and it's more cosmetic. You can fold the small ears of the vinyl over the edge so it has a nice crisp clean look, and then just hoggering it through the vinyl and through the seat frame. Now that our front seat bottom is attached, we want to repeat the process on our front seat top by inserting the paper coated listing wire through the seat cover, the small pockets that are sewn into the seat cover. You want to do it on both sides. And there's one section on this seat that has a pocket that's sewn into the seat cover horizontally. When starting our front seat top seat installation, you want to start in the center recessed area along the horizontal edge. We want to put at least 3 hog rings that run horizontally. After our horizontal edge is complete, you want to move along to our vertical edges. You want to space the hog rings about every 3 to 4 inches apart and repeat the process on the opposite side. You can flip the cover inside out and it's going to make it a lot easier. Our next step will be to wrap the edges all the way around while you're tucking the foam up underneath the seat cover. Now you can work your vinyl with your hand and work any creases or any wrinkles out before you jump to your other side. Now the other side might be a little bit tough to wrap around. Sometimes requires a one person to hold the seat frame down. But you can see Randy's doing it here all by himself. We again start at the top edge, work your way down to the bottom edge, and you can see where the curves are on the seat, where it's supposed to lay over the seat foam. Now as you can see, before you flip the seat over on its front side and start anchoring the back side, you want to make sure the front looks good. You can kind of get a dry fit situation on how your seat cover is going to look before you permanently anchor the back side. Now we want to wrap the bottom edge and make sure the welt is parallel to the bottom edge of the seat frame. That's how you'll know you'll have the seat installed correctly top to bottom. Then we move along our top edge and secure it. A lot of people make the mistake of securing this top edge before they pull the bottom edge down, and they don't have enough for it to travel towards the bottom edge of the seat. Now after our top is attached, we want to attach the bottom side. You can compress the springs, cut off any excess piping, and then tuck the excess material around the hinge area. Once the bottom edge is all complete, come back over on your front side, see how everything is going to be positioned and lined up, and then finish attaching your side edges. Now that your top and bottom seat cover are all attached, it's time to put the miscellaneous hardware in. We want to put the seat bumpers in, and it may be a good idea to put the screws for this location in before you install your seat cover. There is a small recessed area where you'll be able to find the location very easily. But if you think you're going to have a tough time with it, just flip that stretch panel back over, put the screws in, reinstall your seat cover, and you'll be able to find the hole locations for those screws. Now once the top is on, the release tilt forward belt will have to be bolted down to the bottom edge of the seat frame. And then the hinge cover bracket and the hinge is bolted in the same time. And sometimes they're kind of hard to get in. You have to wiggle them and kind of reposition it to get it so you find that correct location. You want to repeat the process on the opposite side. And then lastly, the excess vinyl that hangs over the edge on the side and the back, you want to pull together, fold over, and hog ring. Well, hopefully this video has been very helpful for you. You see our seat covers on. looks 100% factory. We'd like to thank all the people at Legendary Auto Interiors for making this possible. I'd like to thank Randy Brown, and most of all, I'd like to thank you. For Legendary Auto Interiors, I'm Ron Halbritter. We'll see you next time.